Welcome back, everyone. We are into the first semifinals of Banshee tournament number 15, which is now fully funded, thanks to all of you guys. Well, really two, but I think all of you contributed by, spamming the command and just being generally cool people. So thank you very much to Whoosh J for the $150 missing my StarCraft 2 tourney. Wow, there's gonna be a ton of StarCraft 2 the next coming week, man. So you will not be missing it for long. And to 47is for the $20, we bumped up to 280. So that
yeah, it's really cool to see that maxed out. It's nice to get people contributing.
Yeah. For you guys, information, and I guess this is news to you as well, Tilea. The plan from here on out, so, not next week, but the next week after that, the next Banshee tournament will be to actually change the time to 3 p.m. EST to accommodate for our West Coast friendos, as people seem to enjoy that. Yeah, exactly. As well as I think Buzzbin also said she preferred that time. So it's going to do really well, and I think that's preferable. It also still hits the European time okay. And then also we will be including a third place match that won't be cast 9 out of 10 times, but will provide a bit more competition, actually have a fight for a bit more money on the payouts. So that's the plan,
guys. I think those are both cool ideas.
Yeah.
That's it's like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. in Europe, right? Roughly?
Yes,
after
exactly.
The time zones.
It's still doable. It's, getting a little bit late, but I think QB was fine with it as well. She is our, I guess, dominant European.
Okay.
We have quite a few, so.
She lives in Western Russia somewhere, so.
Yeah, we
might. And on the far side.
Oh, have you? Wait, you've been on the far side? Oh, she lives on the far side. Oh, okay. Wow.
Our rivalry, if you could call it that, is kind of unfortunate because she's on the east side of Europe and I'm on the west side of America, so it's quite hard to do it in a fair way.
Right. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, that has been a bit of an unfortunate thing in this series, in the tournament, which we're trying to accommodate, which you might actually have to use here, I think, today, which is server preference for the loser, but still default to America to begin with. It's not, there's no ideal system, but hopefully it's something. We should do introductions, though, because you do have a bit of a cheese on the way. In the bottom left, as the pink Terran, it is Andromeda.
And in the top right, we have Buzzbin, who is second place finisher from our last Banshee Cup tournament.
Exactly. She is going for a very quick Roach Warren, looking to end this game pretty quickly. Andromeda is, we were discussing this, and I want to say like Diamond 1 Masters 3-ish. So she's certainly good, but I think she's Masters 3. But anyways, but does struggle to make it into the finals, for instance. And Buzzbin being our second place competitor last tournament, that is, like she's Masters 1 at least, or certainly can be. So maybe she just believes that she'll win automatically. Maybe she just really wants to showcase her roach cheese. I don't know, but it's coming, and Andromeda is yet to scout it.
Yeah, and she's Andromeda's going into Hellions without division, which is definitely not the best thing that you could get for these roaches.
Yeah, not you can get Cyclones anymore, of course, the change, but
maybe a tank could be good.
Yes, yeah. If you see this, you start getting a little suspicious, like, okay, where's that third base? Then you actually dive in, or you see the roaches at the natural pop out. It's kind of like the fastest you usually expected to scout it.
It looks like she's diving in with the Reaper right now, maybe? No, not quite.
She didn't really dive. So this is going to be the last possible scout, and what she has is not really ideal. Even the Liberator, it will temporarily hold the main, perhaps, but then Ravagers will form, and it'll be broken.
The Hellions just got caught as well, so this is like a disastrous situation for Andromeda.
Yeah, she would want to immediately swap off a tech lab, try and get to a tank, hold the main with mass repair, and these things already are not happening, so there's a Liberator to, again, hold the main for a little while, but either she just runs past it, or she makes Ravagers. And she runs past it.
If the Liberator was out, like, maybe 10 seconds earlier, this might have looked a lot different.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Andromeda actually did the build, the 1-1-1, as close as you really can, so there's not even really a way for it to be that much faster. So this is just...
This Marauder is helping out quite a lot. This is a lot of damage, but it looks like she's gonna clean it up.
That's a good point. Cleaned it up better than I thought. I thought she'd lose over 20 SCVs, and she's gonna be shy of that number, so that's the good news. The bad news is that she doesn't have a third CC, although she is getting one now. and she probably won't have a lot of ability to get some counter damage done, so Buzzbin actually mismacroed maybe a little bit here, thinking that would win her the game. Should not take any damage from the Liberator or the Hellions.
Buzzbin is, not quite exactly, but around twice as many workers, and taking her own third now is just finished, so getting Evo set up to go into upgrades, she's definitely in a very good position to transition into the mid-game.
Yeah. It looks like her gases were a little late, and of course she didn't have that third base, right? So going into Lings now is going to cause her some larva trouble. All things that make sense, but actually going a little bit faster into the Hydras than I would have expected. But otherwise...
She's got gas issues, because she skipped circling speed as well with that Roach Rush, so she had to add that on, too.
Yeah. And she hasn't actually taken her natural, so... maybe she's probably so used to winning with that there's
yeah, that was a very strong timing.
Not a lot of reasons to follow up. And Andromeda is, to be clear, I don't think she's in the wrong for not tapping out. This isn't like a fantasy GG timing. It just is a lot of times I would say that when you get into the main mineral line, the Terran's just like, well, I'm dead, and they tap out. So
she's continued to be going into Hellions, which Buzzbin, who is currently taking the 4th, going into like Lingbane. These Hellions might be a bit more useful than they were against the Roaches, but Lingbane is still rather good against Hellions as well, with like Hellion Bio. It doesn't get as good against like big mech armies of Hellions, but like this number is still quite strong.
Yeah, especially if you have some creep spread, which the middle of the map's looking okay. Over here, it definitely needs some work. It's actually where it needs the most. But since Buzzbin or Andromeda doesn't have a very strong like medevac attack on the way, I'm not actually that worried. She's only at the 46 drones. Like, Buzzbin's actually not being as greedy as she possibly could be. And she did take damage from the Liberator when I thought she wasn't. She's running a Spine Crawler and a Spore Crawler, which would have finished like 10 seconds faster and would have been there to defend. So this is all stuff Andromeda needs to have happen to actually have hope in this game. And because it has happened, I actually think she's not in a terrible position. She's only down 5 workers now, with double upgrades at the finish as well. It seems like a perfectly fine position.
Definitely, yeah. Buzzbin, she focused a bit on dealing with the counter harass, and also she started the 4th that she hasn't gone into yet, and then catching up on tech and stuff. So her drone stayed at around 40 after her attack for a while. They've only climbed a little bit since then. But she has a much stronger army again now.
Yeah, that is, yeah, but it's something that could easily be taken away, though, with some decent drops. It's exactly what Andromeda's doing. From what I've seen from Andromeda, she does start to, like, she has a very strong build order start. She kind of gets maybe a little bit lost as, like, the mid-game goes in, some later barracks, some more barracks than you would need. Like, for instance, right now, this is kind of a weird way of prioritizing your barracks timing, but what she is very good at are those opening build orders and then dropping and being in multiple places at once. So Terran certainly suits her. And that's the way that you can make your way back into a game where you initially lost 17 SCVs, 19 SCVs.
Yeah, she's doing quite well with this harass, keeping the Hellions along the bottom alive and the medevac alive. Buzzbin is doing very well at deflecting as well, but Andromeda isn't. She lost a couple Marines, I think, but for the most part, she's been keeping all her harass units safe.
Oh, pretty quick infestation pit. The context of this game. Still only at 56 drones too, so it's not like the super baller economy. Also getting pretty supply blocked. Oops. Andromeda is now moving to a 3rd base. Equal workers again. Very good position to be in for a Terran player. She did not start an armory? No, she did. Oh, there we go. Upgrades are on the way. Decently timed. If she had more splash, and that's certainly what she's lacking on right now, not a lot of Widow Mines or any, only the first tank on the way, I'd say she had a pretty good attack on the 3rd or 4th base, but without the strong factory presence, she will be relying a bit more on these drops for a little while longer.
She, with her armory, she's managed to convert the handful of Hellions she had left to Hellbats, so that might help a little with soaking up some Bane hits along with some Marauders.
Yeah, it helps a little, but I think, people have tried. It's been tested to do Hellbats.
Hellbats are still light units, aren't they? So Banelings are quite strong, but
yeah, they also they clump. Their splash image isn't actually splash. It's like
it's like just under killing the enemy, which doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah, exactly. So it's better to have them than just like throw them away if your 6 Hellen's still alive, of course. But it's not a replacement for tanks or orbital mines. And that's probably what's going to kill Andromeda here, as she's starting to fall behind again. As Buzzbin now gets up to that
Andromeda's actually ahead on SCVs now and has begun a 4th. Or just, she fell behind again, but this is definitely going to the later stages of the game. The medevacs getting caught, all of them died.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate.
Andromeda starting to miss macro as well. She did add on a second factory, I believe. Like, she has enough production, she just needs to actually get to it. And she'll be able to hold. But 4th base was certainly bold. She assumed that her pressure was going to make up for this defense, and it didn't really work out that way. This
is kind of a rough fight. If she had her medevac still alive, maybe this could have gone better, but this is so many Hydras, and without a strong medevac or tank or backbone for her body, just gonna die there, not be able to deal with it.
Yeah, tanks would have been so helpful. She had 3 tanks on the high ground. Buzzman's not moving into that, but she also would have desperately needed medevacs. Medevacs are generally important, but especially important against that sustained damage that is roaches, or in this case, Hydras. They really look powerful.
Hydras and Bio both do so much damage so quickly that, like, keeping your units alive early in the fight makes such a big difference for how the fight goes over the long term.
Well, I'm sure Andromeda's thinking, like, okay, I just need to not take as much damage in the early game and I'll be better.
She did a good job at coming back from the position that she got put in.
The thing is that, and this is, she's shown some weak points in the mid-game, in previous TVZs, but that was actually a game where if she watched this VOD or watched the replay, she may actually be like, oh, I wasn't in a terrible position. And her thought process during the game might have been very different if she knew that was the case.
Yeah, it's definitely easy to have your mind on the wrong page while you're playing, with just like how limited your information is.
Yep, that's the whole trick to StarCraft.
Sometimes you see the stuff that you need to see, quote quote. It's like on your screen, the game processes it, but you don't actually process it in your brain. Like if you do harassed and you kill 20 drones, but you don't actually see the harass units die, you're really far ahead, but you might not realize and play very scared.
Yeah, that does happen. Well, Cyberforest is Andromeda's map choice. The winner is going to go on to the finals to face actually a number of players we still have left. X1Y beat Poison, but we're still waiting on QB versus Pariah. We're going to guess QB wins. So either one of those players, I suppose.
Do you remember X1Y's race? Is she Zerg Terran? You said she might be Protoss near the beginning, right?
Yeah. But I also confused her with another person who kind of came into the same tournament. I can't remember the name of right now. So don't trust me, guys.
She might be playing any of the 3 races.
Exactly. 1 out of 3. Maybe one of us will get it right. I guess, Poison was here. We could have asked her. Oh, well. We'll find out, because we are guaranteed casting the second semifinal. All will be revealed. Oh, I'm so used to WCS overlay now, Tilea, and it's just so annoying. I just like WCS. Makes me use the WCS overlay. Who'd have thunk it, right?
Rather than GameHeart?
Yeah.
Is that your commitment?
Yeah, I just like GameHeart's like appearance better, and unfortunately the way that you put the score on is different between the two, so I always mess it up.
Do I get to see when you update the score? Do I have to do that on like my own end?
You have to do it on your own end, yeah. Okay.
So I'll just trust you that Husband won that last game.
Yes, yeah, you'll have to trust me. In the bottom right, as the green Zerg up 1, it is Buzzbin.
And in the top left, who fell behind from that early attack, but did a decent job catching up, at least in like macro and army, is Andromeda Pink Terran. Going for an SCV scout, it looks like. Being on guard against any kind of early cheese this game.
That makes sense. Unfortunately, the build that Buzzbin did isn't actually scoutable by, well, technically it is by an SCV scout if you stick around long enough to see how much gas they're taking, I guess. But
you mostly want to see with the Reaper dive, don't you? Which Andromeda declined to do last game.
Exactly.
Whatever term you want to use for that decision.
Yeah, the order of things really is like, in this case, if it were to be the same exact build, you SCV scout, you get out after confirming it's on a 1-base Roach Warren, or a very, very fast, I guess, 2-base Roach Warren, but then your Reaper sees no 3rd base, and you start just desperately scouting for anything. So.
And then would you maybe like throw down a bunker for your Marines at home? Is that the response, if you're not sure what's happening?
Unfortunately, it's not a great response. You really have to figure out if it's... Well, the two options would be either a Baneling bust or a Roach bust, right? And both of them kind of still revolve around getting to that main, like going back into your main base, saving your SCVs, and building a bunker. So I guess, yeah, that would be the best like catch-all option. But like if you were wrong, and I guess I was wrong, there's not only 2 options. The 3rd option is to go into a lair. If you're wrong, they're going into a lair, then you've fallen way behind. So you really want to try and see what pops out of those eggs.
That makes a lot of sense. Here we have Husband going for a very fast lair on just 2 base, and it seems like she neglected to make Zerglings. So this Reaper is getting quite a bit of damage done.
Yeah, a couple of canceled drones, 1 dead, maybe another one. Queen does pop out.
This Reaper survives, which it looks like it will. That was very good Reaper poke.
Very good Reaper poke. So unfortunately, and this is probably what Buzzbin's hoping is going to happen, is that Andromeda's going to start saying, okay, there's no 3rd base again, like, oh shit, and probably react with a bunker or pulling ourselves to the high ground, when in reality it is going to be a lair, which I sort of feel the Spire, but she didn't take all 4 gases. Okay, no, it is
She's only on 3.
Okay.
Okay, do you think she dives with the Reaper now? There's only 2 Zerglings. It looks like she's going for it.
She absolutely should. This is exactly what she should be doing. She sees a lair, and she sees a Spire, because there's always that option that's maybe like a Negative Swarm, and that's a perfect scout for her. Now she just, you know...
She even keeps the Reaper alive, so that's really good for her, yeah.
Impressive Reaper.
Buzz been going for a 3rd, but she her drone economy is kind of weak with all of this early gas and also the damage that she took. Really.
Right. Yeah. So.
And it looks like the Reaper might stop the 3rd. Wow, this Reaper's done so much for Andromeda this game.
This Reaper's on fire, man. MVP. The what can happen though, and it's what I was afraid it was gonna happen, but it seems to be going okay, is that you over invest into the Spire defense. You think like, okay, you get television again, like on the Spire. You know, last series you saw television on the battlecruiser, and maybe you get too many missile turrets, you don't get enough, you don't go for a 3rd CC when you actually can. You like, as soon as you know it's a Spire build, you maybe get some, you get a Viking, you get a missile turret with an early engineering bay, and that covers you. There's not a lot of units they can build off of 2 bases, which is why this build basically died out. Like, no one really does it anymore.
At the 3rd base, the Reaper and his Hellion friends who just showed up, they managed to clear out the extractor that drone morphed into.
Yeah, really nicely done. I mean, the other 3rd was taken. It's already like...
Yeah. Just entertaining. You don't see Reapers killing extractors very often.
No, you don't.
These Mutalisks are going to clear up all the harassment units finally, and as you mentioned, the 3rd is almost finished. So Buzzman is getting into the mid-game better. We'll see how much damage these Mutalisks can do to Andromeda. He has 4 turrets already.
Yeah, she's good to go against the Mutas. What can be scary is letting Lings through sometimes, but we don't have Lings. We have actually a transition into Hydralisk tech. So this might be a big surprise. Andromeda knows about the 3rd base. That was a good scout. She scouted the Spire, but she hasn't scouted the Hydralisk 10. It's gonna go into Banelings. She might just be going into Ling Baneling Hydra from here, which would be a very weird flex, but... That was
the composition she played last game, right? But with slightly later upgrades, slightly later economy this game.
It's not a very strong build order, and if Andromeda had done actually exactly what she usually does with the 3rd CC and then all her production, she would be in an absolutely fabulous position. As it is now, she doesn't have a 3rd CC, but she does have production, and she's still in a good position, but she could have been in a better one, actually.
finally adding her first sets of medevac. She made 3 Vikings, which I feel like is more than she needs against these 4 mutas. Maybe
Yeah.
she also was building a Thor, I think, and she canceled it?
Well,
She canceled the
thankfully.
Thor, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's. I was wondering what the armory was for, and I guess it was to build a Thor before she realized she didn't need it. She is trying to keep tabs on this, like, drunken master style Zerg. She scanned the natural, and she has a good idea of what's going on, so just, like, that's exactly what you should be doing.
Okay, yeah, she saw both the Bane Nest and the Hydra Den, so... Finally putting down her 3rd. I think she just finished Stem, correct? Yes?
Yeah.
So, definitely getting there. These Vikings aren't the best against Hydralisks, but they can still do some things.
They're gonna soak, probably. I prefer them being used to go hunt down overlords.
Yeah, there are a few that she could catch that Busman has left around the map, especially that one, the Overseer, near her main.
Yeah.
It's put down a changeling to try and get some scouting information, it seems.
Yep. Not that she really has anything too much to scout. She should have scouted the 2-base attack, which I think she realized was coming, but I don't think she realized exactly where it was coming in through. She doesn't have a lot of creeps for to work off of here. Combat chills isn't done, but neither are the upgrades for Buzzbin. This could be a very decent attack.
I'm pretty scared for the Terran here, for Andromeda, because she doesn't have combat shields. And she has so many Vikings.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she needs to
I
land
think
those
this could be a
Vikings.
very powerful push, but I just don't think this is the right time for it.
It's like one stim, snipe off whatever you can, hopefully draw them into the Liberator tank fire, and then wait for combat shields is I think the best play there, but she hasn't started combat shields, and she also blocked off her tank with the Tech Lab barracks, so...
So that's
Unfortunate.
it's quite unlucky. She doesn't even have a... Oh, she's putting down another Tech Lab on this Barons' Landing, but she doesn't have one right now for combat shield, so... That's a pretty big mistake.
Yeah, being caught out of position here, she's going to lose some of these important units. She does save everything. I thought she was going to get surrounded for a second, so she might just be able to hold here, but...
Ooh, this tank might get caught by the Hydras if... Nah, Buzzman isn't going to jump on it.
Yeah, she would need to bring the Overseer over to give her high ground. Or stack a bunch of units on top of the supply depots.
Now there are 3 tanks, so Andromeda is totally fine at this point.
Yeah, she is. But this was a very strong potential of cutting Buzzbin down to size, and what ended up happening was Andromeda got pounced on, so now she's the one that's late to her economy. Well, Buzzbin really needs to get more drones, but she's supply blocked? Wait, no. Well, 8 Overlords. She's never going to be supply blocked again. Just making sure of that. But yeah, she, the point is, like, Andromeda's lost a lot of her momentum. The pacing has really been screwed up here. And that's going to give Buzzbin time to get drones, get creep spread, and max out her army.
And she still hasn't started combat shields, so I think she probably forgot. Maybe she thought she started it, but canceled it or didn't quite.
Yeah.
Definitely don't think this is the plan that she wanted to go down.
I'm with you there. She just totally forgot. Still a little focused on what could potentially be mutas, I suppose, as well, because she's building more missile turrets and a Thor. Which is not useful.
During this bio push and stuff, Buzzman she kept her mutas alive. They're still alive, aren't they? Yes.
They are.
They've been doing quite a little bit of harassment still.
Yeah, now
despite the fact that there are missile turrets already.
Oh, look, there's the Ewoks. They're just being used as anti-drop defense, I think, now. Not a bad use of them, but there's really no reason to build a Thor.
Yeah, there's some pickup micro going on here at the 3rd to help the Marines kill the Spine. Or, this is the 4th, I suppose. That was, that was pretty nice.
Yeah, and that's
opening. Looks like this is gonna get caught, though, which is...
Oh.
Spine for medevac isn't quite worth it, but it was still a really cute play.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I was gonna say it opens up opportunity for, like, a later drop, right? And I get rid of the Spine Crawler, but... Not anymore. We're going to go back to the main push. She did remember combat shields finally noticed. 2-1 is on the way as well. The creep spread is decent through the middle of the map. Weak in some other parts, like if she just gone right to the 4th base, for instance.
Yes, definitely. And there's also like a good ramp situation there that she can set up her tanks on the low ground or something to have a good angle for fighting.
Yeah, I think a lot of times though, especially in the heat of a StarCraft game, you don't really think about where, you know, how to where to properly move. You're thinking about like, oh, I need better macro, I need better micro, I need to drop
you think
more.
about like which objectives, like if they're ahead on economy, you need to kill one of their bases. You think about things like that, not like what army you have and where you want your army to be fighting, ideally.
And unfortunately, that is gonna force her to take more time than really necessary to push here, because she needs to clear up the creep spread, when really she should be like situated killing one creep tumor to start
She
pressuring.
caught both of the creep queens, which is very good, and killed a lot of the active tumors.
You know what? There are no banelings. There are 6
Yeah.
Vipers, but I actually don't care. There are no banelings. I think this army of Andromeda would just steamroll.
The Vipers
Buzzbins.
don't actually do very much, do they? They'll abduct the tanks and maybe the Liberators, but the Bio-Medevac is so strong on its own.
Yeah. I'd say like maybe they can Blinding Cloud, right? And that would push the army into banelings, but there weren't banelings. Now there are. Buzzman fixed that mistake. And now
Especially
it's
this place Andromeda's army is so small, so narrow, the Blinding Cloud would be very powerful.
That's a very good point. The tanks are pretty far away, so she can actually run back into them, and the Vipers don't have a ton of energy either.
The Vipers are abducting a few key units, but all of the tanks, I think, survived. Maybe one died, but Thors got picked off, the Liberators got picked off. But I think the tanks are the big part of this push, so...
Yeah. But to your point, like, well, this would be an amazing attack pre-Viper. It's a dangerous position to be in with Vipers. So it looks like it'll go okay. I think we have a bit of overstimming going on here, or just a lack of medevacs. Otherwise,
I
I'd be
agree
very
with
confident.
that. And also, this is just a very awkward place for Andromeda to push through, because it's such a narrow choke into, like, Hydras with creep.
Yeah. It also just, it doesn't do much, right? Like, the Zerg player could theoretically be like, your army's here, okay, then I don't really care. Like, I'm getting
it's
my
not
bases.
threatening the fourth or anything like that.
Exactly. And, again, it goes back to, like, thinking, oh,
Ooh,
whoa,
catching these Vipers.
Nice. There's too many to
Caught
begin
4
with.
of them. That was, yeah. 4 Vipers is still quite a lot, but she cut the number down by half, so that's very useful for her. Especially because I don't believe Buzzbin has added any buildings to, what is the term? I actually don't know. Consume? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, she hasn't consumed.
Devour is Defilers, right?
Yeah.
Or is it also Consume? Okay.
No, it's you're right. They devour a unit, whereas Vipers consume health. I see the reasoning for it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me as well. Just, consume can mean, like, partially or completely, so it's kind of ambiguous.
That's true. That's true. I might be wrong. I may be, like, actually looking out here, but we always call it consume, so...
Okay, Hydra Harass in the 4th is doing some good damage, and a big attack in the front as well, with some huge blinding clouds on so many of these tanks.
Yeah. It's still kind of awkward, though. Like, that actually didn't steamroll through. The tanks eventually got out of the blinding cloud, but what this did do was keep Andromeda's attention on the main fight, so she lost 28 SCVs, mostly on transfers, and then also, maybe she didn't even cancel that command center? Okay, she at least canceled.
I believe she canceled the 5th.
At least she did that.
It did die. And her 4th is not yet landed again, so that little Hydra run by did a huge amount of damage.
It's also an orbital, so that Hydra, like, Hydra should be laughable against a planetary, but they can do damage against this. Oh no! The tanks, the Liberators!
Buzzbin is, she's taken a 5th and a 6th. She, doesn't look like she has... Does she have any queens? No, she doesn't. So she's relying exclusively on hatchery larvae.
That's a very good point.
Supply. She has a 52 Hydralisks, that's so many. And she's catching these last tanks out of position, which is most of the splash damage in the Terran army.
Yeah, it is. 2 tanks still going strong here, and if Andromeda had, like, better upgrades, like if she was on 2-2, going on a 3-2, a mass bio army would do fine against what Buzzbin's showing here. It's just the numbers really are no longer in Andromeda's favor at all. Like half the armor supply, and she didn't have those good upgrades, so this is eventually going to be Buzzbin's win.
Why do you think the numbers swung so hard towards Buzzbin? Do you think it was the stuff in the center? Do you think Andromeda lost too many units, or did she make mistakes with her macro? How did she end up like this? Okay.
Yeah, all of the above. I remember seeing both of them macroing, you know, off a little bit, you know, right, like 1,000 minerals there, 500 gas there. And then I think there was some problems with production. Again, like, Andromeda actually gets a decent amount of production facilities, but her, you know, she occasionally misses the cycles, especially when it comes to factory production. So,
Buzzbin will take that series to a right as Festive 3, but Andromeda was in quite good positions in both of those games, despite falling so far behind early in the first one.
Yeah, she was. I think you should feel happy because we all know Buzzbin's a very good player. With how long you're like, she actually was on par with Buzzbin for multiple times in both of those games, and then just lost out to sometimes army control, sometimes just not as good macro. Like Buzzbin might not have been at baller economies every single game like you would expect from a Zerg player taking advantage, but she still was building a bigger army and eventually building a better economy. So
definitely. And I think a trend in both those games was that Andromeda either had her higher tech units delayed, like by building the Vikings or by the Roach attack, and then she had a lot of her like high-tech importing units get picked off, either in little pokes or just accidentally out of position. So
well, this means we'll go to the other semifinals. Quick shout out to all the subs here. We got, oh my god, Full Cult's Pendulum. That probably is some fancy term, I don't know. Thank you for that tier 1 sub. Whoosh J for the gifted sub, The Timed Path. Butterscott for the 4-month resub. Then we had Whoosh J gets another sub to UCF Fool. And that just about covers it. Thank you very much, guys. We will be going to a very small break as we get the next lobby set up. It's going to be X1Y versus QB to see who faces Buzzbin in those finals. See you soon. I got it.
interesting.
Yeah, but it's some of the colors are more annoying than others, so don't mind a remake. It was just the very beginning of the game, anyways.
So last time we saw Sweet Grief X1Y go for a low ground gateway. I assume she'll be doing the same this game.
I assume so.
Is there some kind of adept opening, most likely?
You think adepts?
For like harass and scouting. That seems to be the norm for this matchup.
I don't remember having to restart. We'll see if she wants him to actually fix it. I don't know how annoying it is. I thought it actually kind of looked cool for me, but...
Oh, never mind. That's good then.
Okay. Maybe
It's
I'll restart later.
Unfortunate little tech hiccup.
Yeah, it is. But anyways, they swap positions. They don't do the intros again. It's fine. You guys know who they are. Thank you, Whoosh J, who already donated to the Matcherino to max out the prize pool, but then also donated 1,000 bits. Says Tilea bits.
I haven't played or seen, I think, Sweet Grief X1Y playing. But QB is definitely very good. She's... I don't know the actual number. I think it's like 8 or 9. She's been in the finals a lot, and she's won 3 times, I believe, now as well.
That sounds correct. Yeah. Well, I think she's won both the ones you weren't here. So.
And she won the last one as well.
Yeah. So she's, she's the one we predict the win. But I have been able to cast X1Y now that I kind of remember that she is in fact a Press. I was recalling. So she does play a little cheesy. So your guess about Adepts really wasn't like a bad call at all. I don't know if it's going to be Adepts necessarily, which can sometimes lead to more of a macro game. But she did like 2 all-ins, I think maybe 1 macro game from what I saw, and she was, I think I see her play versus Zerg and versus Terran, and she was pretty all-in-y in both of those. So that, that and the power, like in the hands of even like a Masters 3, even if you're up against a Masters 1, actually still means that Masters 3 player can win as long as they're properly executing the build. Maybe they don't have the greatest macro afterwards, sure, but if their build order is tight, then it's very difficult for even a very good Zerg player to defend against. So I'm thinking that QB needs to be a little on guard, because I don't think these two have played together necessarily, and I'm not even sure that QB has had any reason to watch X1Y play, because she's been waiting in the finals or something like that. This is X1Y's, I think, maybe 2nd time in the semifinals. That's the number I'm throwing out there, but I'm going to stick with it.
um, I think QB as a player, I've definitely played lots of early games with her, but she plays the mid game and late game quite well as well. So she seems very well rounded for whatever's happening, and she's going for an Overlord scout, not wanting to get tricked out by anything early. It's gonna see this Robo. So my adept call is not at all correct, but
unfortunately not. This can be tricky though, and you can give me your thoughts. Like when you see this opener, sometimes I see the Protoss just use it kind of as like a positioning tool, like, oh, I'm big, bad, I'm scary. They might move out, but they actually plan on returning home and expanding. And sometimes it really isn't all in. And when you Overlord Scout this early and have it die, it's kind of hard to get that confirmation second scout, you know, how many gateways they have, how much gas they have. So are you worried for QB in this position?
I'm not worried as of this moment. I think it's starting to look like this might be a Q-based push with the early sentries to accumulate energy for force fields, and also going into 2 Immortals back-to-back. Maybe this will be some kind of Warp Prism Immortal Harass, but it might also either directly be our lead into some kind of Immortal push.
Yeah.
It could be very strong.
Yeah, I predict that it will be an actual, like, all-in, like, she is going to commit to this push. It can sometimes be tricky, especially if they do, like, a decent job, like, pretending they're expanding, which I don't actually think Sweet Grief did. But we have Twilight Council now on the way. It is going to be Warp Prism for harassment. She got her Immortals kind of set up like she's going to pick them up in the Warp Prism, so... Constant Hallucinate Phoenix, actually, you know, your point about her gaining energy.
Yes, this is her third one, isn't it? Or is it only her second?
I think it's her second one. But either way, that's, even though it's a bit cheaper on the energy cost nowadays, it's still, if you were going to go for that, like, Immortal Sentry all-in, basically, right? Like, super old school, then you would be more conservative about those, like, say, Phoenix, I would think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like the Parting build from way back several years ago. I don't think you threw out any hallucinations with that, really. And you also went up to, like 10 centuries even with that build.
Yeah, yeah. Good old times. The Dark Shrine, I think I'd have seen her do this build before, so I think what can be awfully confusing for the Zerg player is they're, like, already on guard about it being a Sentry Immortal based attack, right? So they're, you know, getting roaches at only 49 drones, which is a decent amount and would have her defend and all in for sure, but maybe...
So I really like this Immortal Harass if she picks up now. Yeah. I think the Immortals trade so well against especially those, like, first few roaches that she caught.
Yeah.
They kill them so quickly, but then she might have overstayed a little afterwards and took too much damage.
So I was thinking that QB might accidentally, like, think, like, oh no, she's just harassing, like, she's gonna expand, which Sweet Grief does go for an expansion, and a Forge, too, so it's not gonna be a 2-base all-in, like, at all. And that she might go into droning again, but she...
Really annoying Immortal Micro on the roaches.
Yeah, well, that's something that Sweet Grief needs to be careful about, because QB looks like she's gonna just go for an attack. Like, she is not going for upgrades, she is not adding any more drones, she is... gonna deal with this and move out at some point, and if Sweet Grief loses the Warp Prism or has it on this side of the map instead of at home defending, she doesn't have a ton of units otherwise.
Yeah. She, QB that is, hasn't droned her third fully yet. She's committing very hard to these roaches.
She's getting a couple of drones now, it's a little weird, but yeah, back into those roaches. She's tripling, almost quadrupling the army supply of our Protoss player, who... I don't know if she's really feeling out that, you know, that's too many roaches. She might be thinking, oh yes, I forced out this many roaches, like she's totally misreading me, but in actuality, she's about to all-in you and you're not prepared.
She has 3 Immortals now, a 4th on the way, which is really good, but she doesn't really have like the gateway support for the Immortals.
Yeah, exactly. Charge nowhere near finished, neither +1. The Immortals, where is the Warp Prism? It's out here, not helping Micro. That's not good news. With perfect Micro, maybe. Also,
Sweet Grief went into the Dark Shrine, but QB already has an Overseer with this push, so the Dark Templar are being forced into an Archon, which isn't as effective as a defense method.
Yeah. 30 probes already gone down since some Lings got into the main base. QB is just stomping all over this. It's a good choice of an attack. I think Sweet Grief was not quite reading into it being an all-in, otherwise you probably would have seen more shield batteries, and the Warp Prism would have stayed at home as well. GG.
That was, maybe the Warp Prism was leaving to warp in Dark Templar, is my guess, to
Yeah.
continue harassing. Yeah, that was... And also the Immortals, two of them were in the third, and the other two that were, like, kind of staggered, they were in the natural and the main. So that was not ideal.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That was really well executed by QB, though, with, like, the Zergling run by into the main mineral line at the same time, the large push, the positioning, all of those things. She very strong timing that ended the game quite early.
Yep, that's I mean, if that's the way she wants to do it. Like, I really thought that X1Y would continue with her all-ins, but not so much.
It looked like with all the hallucinations, because she continued to do that even after when we first commented on it. All the hallucinations and the going into Dark Templar harass in the third, I think she was really trying to play a later game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna choose King's Cove. It's the next map. It's a pretty map. Oh, I think we had some more donations to the Matcherino. Thank you very much. Ziasin and Snark Angel for $20 and $10 respectively.
I think it might have been the Pylon show. I saw you talking somewhere about how this tournament is so funded already for like almost another year even. Maybe not quite, but
yep.
Yeah, it's doing very, very well.
It is
really
indeed.
Cool.
Okay. Both ready to go. Let's do it. King's Cove, game number 2. Whoever wins... Well, actually, if QB wins this, she goes on to the finals. If Sweet Grief wins it, then well, it's another game to be played.
And, regardless of who wins in the finals, they'll be playing against Buzzman, the second place finisher last time, Zerg. Her and QB played a very, very close series last Banshee Cup, so if QB does take the series with a 2-1 or a 2-0 victory, then we have a history of the finals being a very good match.
Indeed. Well, on the bottom right, as the yellow Protoss down 1, it is Sweet Grief, or X1Y.
In the top left, we have QB, who is just doing a 13 Overlord at this point. So, she won the last game with that very strong early Roach attack on like 2.5 base saturation, roughly.
Yep. Maybe she'll do it again here. I don't know if she really knows much about X1Y's play. I was just trying to describe last game, is that I don't know if there's been any reason for her to pay attention when X1Y is playing.
Yeah, you mentioned that last game, and I agree. You, especially because we have mostly the same kind of players showing up every time, and our admin does a pretty good job of seeding everyone to try and make a nicely run tournament. You get kind of the same bracket very often.
Yeah.
So you don't really see a lot of new people, you see the same people over and over.
Yeah, but we still get a decent amount of new people like every so often. I'm pretty happy with it. Like the first 5 Banshee tournaments was I think only like 6 people really consistently, and now it's more like 8 or 9 people consistently.
It's really cool to see it grow. It hasn't been like a straight growth. It goes up and down a bit, but it's really cool. QB it looks like she's going for a very early 4th, maybe? What is this drone? Is it just scouting for a Stargate?
I guess so. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. Doesn't want to wait for the Lings. She hasn't scouted anything at all, so it also is possible she's scouting for proxy gateways.
Oh, yes. It's still so early in the game. And she saw the drone scout as well, quite early, so... That might be a concern.
So she might actually know that Sweet Group's a little bit cheesy sometimes, or just has recently played against a Protoss who did this.
It's not a bad habit to have. It's it's not ideal because like QP didn't see the base below her natural, for example. So it's not like this is a catch everything, and it does cost her some money, but she's comfortable in trading some money for what she might think is a better chance at winning or getting into a good position.
Yeah, totally. We did have Sweet Grief not go for a low ground expansion, but now she's setting up that wall. Once again, going into a sentry first. And that Overlord will die to a Stalker.
Yeah, what did that Overlord see? Did it see? It saw the gateways being added on the low ground. It saw no tech yet, but that's because Sweet Grief X1Y hasn't added any tech yet. No, because there wasn't any to see, or because she missed it. That was phrased really weirdly.
No worries. Total 4 gateways here, and then I hate having it on pause.
Yeah, so 4 gateways. She went for a sentry again. It will be interesting to see if she continues hallucinating as much as she did last time, or if she actually saves that energy of the sentry this time. With her extra gateway, maybe she's going for less of a harassment and more of an attack kind of a build.
Yeah, that's my guess as well. I think we'll see less hallucinations. You know, it's been going on in chat for basically since the beginning, but I'll finally address it. It's really nice to not be the one, like, who's being asked if I'm Scarlet. It's like a whole world here.
I think it's interesting. I'm pretty good friends with her, and I've definitely been told I sound very similar to her a lot, which is kind of a weird theme, but it's not like offensive or anything. Sounding like her seems like a really cool thing to me.
Well, that's the best way to look at it. I just think me and her sound nothing alike, in my opinion. But I get it. Well, I still get it. I used to get it all the time, just because who would have thunk it? There's more than one woman who can be on a camera or on a mic. But
some people in StarCraft don't have male voices. What a surprise!
Yeah. Okay, this is kind of confusing.
The hallucinated Colossus?
This would be the fastest Colossus build. It's actually impossible, I think, to do this fast of a Colossus on 2 bases. Like,
and QB's already seen, if she was paying attention, that it doesn't do any damage.
I want to say that was a mistake. C and X are awfully close to each other, and X is the Phoenix one, so...
Yes, it looks like this Colossi isn't going to make it across the map in time. So, I would definitely agree that that was a misclick.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. She's not going to get the scout she wants. Not that she's really be scouting anything particular. It's the same timed lair, which maybe would send alarm bells, but I don't know about that. It's once again the Resident Enclaves. Oh no, that was the very first game of the day. Sorry, like I just crisscrossed my games.
That was a Battle Cruiser build, right?
Yeah, exactly.
QP is adding spores, so she hasn't seen either the Stargate or like a Twilight Council yet. So she's preparing for oracles, but it looks like this is going to be some kind of adept glaive push into maybe a follow-up all-in with the Robo for Warp Prism or Immortals.
Could be. You can also crank out +1 with that in some builds. She does have all the gases.
She's adding a Forge, so it looks like she will be getting +1.
The adept attack might do a decent amount of damage. QB started building roaches around the time she started roach speed, though. Okay, yeah, that's... Never mind. I thought maybe it would come before she started building roaches, but... we'll see. She has a drone. Like, if she doesn't start building a decent amount of roaches, it's not like she has a lot of lings to stall out the adepts either, and like 6 adepts with Resident Glaives could do a lot of damage. There we go, 8 roaches. That still would have to be split up. There's still a potential for a lot of drones to go down, but then it's the classic... Okay, close your economy, but then I die to your army scenario.
This is a really interesting situation in PvZ because whether your roaches are on time or not makes a huge difference. Because like if your roaches are on time, you can shove the adepts away, make them have to shade backwards. But if your roaches are late, the adepts can shade forwards, and you have to be chasing the adepts around, and they do a lot more damage.
Right.
It looks like QB got her roaches early enough, so these adepts got pushed away and aren't going to do much.
And now they need to be on full alert to scout how many roaches. Like, is that the roaches because you're afraid, or is that roaches you're going to attack me again? And we see that it is roaches you're going to attack me again. So hopefully this game, it's you know, the Immortals aren't out of position a little bit. She should be chronoing more Immortals right now when she's not, right?
She's adding a third and also a lot more gateways, so it looks like she She also had the shield battery in her natural this game, so it looks like she's gonna go a lot more defensive this time around.
She lost all of her adepts in an attempt to maybe buy time or scout, either one. And she did get a scout, but is it going to be enough? Even if she realizes it's an all-in, she's adding shield batteries. Her immortals aren't on the front lines. One's still in the main base. There we go.
She has a double robo now, but still only one immortal with the double robo. So this timing has roach speed now, and QB's morphing 9 Ravagers. So this is... maybe she'll even catch this immortal in the natural? No.
You know what? It's actually not that bad. This, she works in a couple of Zealots deal with the roaches and brings them more to the front lines. It's not a...
The third is not out of position with the sentries. If they could have, like, force fielded the ramp, they would have held much better here.
Yeah, even with the Corrosive Biles, maybe they buy, like, a couple extra seconds, but the roaches might not have done a lot of economic damage. Well, maybe I'm speaking too soon. They did draw the Immortals away, so...
Yeah. I think X1Y's army might even be able to win this fight. Immortals are so strong. Maybe I'm biased, but the roaches in the main are doing so much damage right now.
Yeah, they are tearing that probe count apart. And the Immortals are being targeted. Ravager's nice long range, and there goes the last Immortal. GG.
And with reinforcements arriving as well, because QB, she stayed on the same drones, right? She didn't drone her third past like halfway.